November 15th, 1777, I just finished drafting America's first constitution called the Articles of Confederation. And no cap, it's giving group project where nobody wants to be the leader vibes. We just fought to escape a strong government, so naturally we created the weakest government possible. The whole thing is a mess, but it's the mess we needed at the time. My name is John Dickinson, and this is the AP US History My Story podcast. So here's the tea about why we needed any government at all after beating the British forces. We had this thing called the Continental Congress running the military engagement, but it was held together with hopes, prayers, and whatever money we could borrow from France. Our currency was so worthless that people literally used it as wallpaper. No joke. So when I drafted these articles back in 1776, I had to solve this impossible puzzle. How do you create a government strong enough to function, but weak enough that it won't become tyrannical like Britain? My solution was basically to give the federal government almost no power whatsoever, period. Under my articles, each state kept its independence. The federal government couldn't tax people directly. It had to ask the states nicely for money, and the states could literally just say, no, we're good. Want to pass a law? You need 9 out of 13 states to agree. Want to amend the articles? You need all 13 states to say yes. The whole thing was designed to make sure no single authority could dominate the others, which sounded fine in theory, but in practice was a total chaos. By the 1780s, this system was falling apart faster than a bad TikTok trend. States were printing their own money, taxing goods from other states, and some were on the verge of civil conflict. Daniel Shays led an organized resistance in Massachusetts because farmers couldn't pay their taxes and the federal government couldn't do jack. That's why guys like Alexander Hamilton were already planning to completely redesign my whole system. The Constitutional Convention in 1787 was supposed to fix the Articles of Confederation, but we basically threw my work into the trash and started over. And yeah, I was there for it. Delaware sent me as a delegate, and honestly, we were right to do it. My articles were perfect for the paranoid mindset of 1777 when we were terrified of recreating British tyranny. But by the 1780s, we realized that weak government is just as dangerous as strong government, maybe more dangerous. Like, it was insane how fast things deteriorated. The crazy thing is my articles actually worked for what they were designed to do. We won the conflict against Britain, negotiated the Treaty of Paris, and managed to survive as an independent nation for over a decade. We even figured out how to expand westward and add new states, but survival isn't the same as success. So the Articles of Confederation got replaced after 10 years, but that doesn't mean they were a failure. Sometimes you need the rough draft to figure out what the final version should look like. My weak government taught Americans that they could trust themselves with the stronger one. It hit different once we understood what we were missing. The Constitution that replaced my articles was only possible because Americans had spent a decade learning how to be Americans under my system first. We had to experience the chaos of too little power before we could handle the responsibility of enough power. Like, follow, and share the AP US History My Story podcast, because these stories hit different when you hear the original voices that shaped our country.